welcome. We are being joined by Jensen Barnes, here to learn a little bit more about her InventOR project. So Jensen, let's start out. Tell me what university or college that you're representing and what degree program are you currently in?
So I'm at University of Oregon, and I am in the Lundquist College of Business, studying business administration and focusing in entrepreneurship.
Oh, that's excellent. That's excellent. And why don't you introduce your team to us? Introduce your project.
Team is currently me. uh, my brand I'm working on is called LoveHate Athletica, and it is fashionable and functional women's tennis apparel. And I'm starting with a tennis dress with removable shorts called the Serving Looks dress.
I love the name, both the product name and the brand name. That's fantastic. How did you come
Thank
up
you.
with this? How did you start down the path of creating LoveHate and the dress in particular?
Yeah, it all just stems from my love for the sport because I've played for about half my life at this point, and I got really serious into tennis when I was 12 years old. I was playing 6 hours outside during the summers, and then I'm at practice 3 hours a night during the school year. And my love for it really stemmed from there. And I was actually recruited to go play my freshman year at a different school. And the entire time I was playing, I always just felt like I was choosing clothes that were what I liked, but didn't have the functionality of actually playing. Or I would pick stuff that like would function well on the court, but it was always something that I felt like my grandma would wear, not something I really wanted to wear. And I figured like, why can't I do this? Why can't I make exactly what I would want to wear? So that's how it came about. And then in terms of the tennis dress, I feel like that garment in particular is always the one that is done the worst. And so I wanted to start with like my minimum product. This is like what I can do with something as simple as a dress and really make it perfect for the sport.
That is really cool. It kind of leads into the next question. Since you were our student athlete and we're a student athlete, who else was coming to you and asking for things like this? And have you seen not being able to access things that are comfortable and functional affecting athletes' ability to perform and feel comfortable? Really, what makes this important, and how do you think LoveHate can solve some problems?
Yeah, I wouldn't say people other than just players who like I had played with my whole life. Like we had talked about it, and, oh, that's so cute, but yeah, you can't hold balls in the pockets or anything like that. And so I guess like mine has been like informal experience up until me trying to launch the brand. People have been like, "Oh, thank God you're doing this," because I've always wanted something like this.
Jensen, that really leads me into my next question. All the projects in Invent Oregon have an impact. Can you explain a little bit further about how Love Hate is going to have an impact on female athletes or athletes in general? What do you see the possibilities for that being?
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, confidence, even though you might not want to admit it, definitely like stems from how you present yourself. And I want to be a small part in making women feel as though they belong as athletes because I feel like that's such an essential part. I mean, sports have been literally like the foundation of like my entire life and personality, and I can imagine my life without sports, especially tennis. And so I'm making this brand to really relate to those people who like have that competitive edge in them and maybe aren't represented with what's currently on the market. Like my impact is really just going to be about making women feel as though they are powerful and that they can be beautiful and kick butt on the court. That's my vibe.
That's excellent. So, who is your target market for Love Hate? Really, who do you see producing this for?
Yeah, originally I was looking into kind of the 16 to 25-year-old age range, but after some customer discovery interviews, I've decided to extend that to being about 16 to 35 because I realized a lot of the people in the USTA sphere in like women's leagues were actually interested in my designs. And so that was like really motivating for me. And so I extended it from just really active current players who are maybe in like that college recruitment or just recently out of college to then extending it to like those people who are still being competitive and want these kind of like more modern designs in like that women's league uh, space.
Oh, that's excellent. And that really is great to see that kind of progress where if you've taken your brand and been able to explore further as you've been going through Invent Oregon. So I'm curious, what are some things that you've learned about what it's like to be an innovator through going through the process at your university and now through Invent Oregon?
The biggest thing I've learned is that there is a new problem every single day that you have to deal with, because although like my designs are like an essential part of what I'm offering as a business, um, it's also a business. And so there's problems that come up all the time where you're constantly pivoting. And I guess like I just never expected that piece of it. On top of it, in terms of like the innovation part, you can always do something better. There can always be a tweak. And I think that was something, is that you have to be so open to feedback and not take it as like a criticism. You have to be willing to take it and learn from it. I think that is like the biggest thing I've learned from that. And also taking advantage of the people who want to help you.
That's excellent. With that, with having access to those, to resources and people in a network, where are you hoping to take the project in the future? What's the progress you really want to see for LoveHate?
Progress I see for LoveHate is through the roof. I think that there is such like an untapped market for this. For me, I want to start with tennis, and then I want to go into more sports that I feel like are super underserved. For me, the next step would be women's golf. Super similar market, very similar demographic, and honestly, women's golf clothes are even more matronly and in that vein. So I really want to just redo one sport at a time. In terms of like my personal passion for tennis, 10 years from now, I would love to be sponsoring a tournament. I think that I have some real professional athletes who would want to be part of a brand that, you know, does good and who promotes things that are like our pro female athletes. I think that it's unique to have someone who's a young entrepreneur rather than like the mainstream brands that like maybe people don't connect with anymore. I feel like that's what I can offer. So I see huge growth potential for this brand. Honestly, like I would be putting so much passion, effort, and time while I'm a college student, while I'm supposed to be having all this time, like out partying or whatever. I wouldn't be spending my time doing this unless I saw some real potential in it.
That is so inspirational. I really want to know, what have you learned about yourself by starting your entrepreneurship journey?
This might be a little like cheesy, but in terms of what I've learned about myself is that I am so much more capable than I give myself credit for. I am definitely the first one to discredit myself and give into that imposter syndrome. But I realized that everyone who's been around you who's been successful didn't know what you don't know at some point, like they learned it. So I've just been trying to tell myself that it's okay to learn, it's okay to be open to just getting new information and taking each experience as they come. I think the biggest thing, yeah, is just that I need to not discredit myself and just give what I have, because people have been responding to it. So why not?
Absolutely. I hope that everyone within the InventOR network can support you on your journey. So as we're getting closer and closer to the finals and you've been through boot camp and some other things, what is in your opinion, the most valuable takeaway that you've had from being a part of InventOR?
I think the most valuable takeaway from Invent Oregon has been meeting so many driven people, even though everyone has been like pretty much entirely different from what I'm doing. It's just so inspiring to be around so many people who are your age, who are also aspiring entrepreneurs. It's not very common to be around that many people. So like being in a tight knit group is really just empowering, and you get to bounce off ideas off one another. And although you're in a competition, it's not like a snickery kind of high school thing. It's like everyone's rooting for everyone. So it's nice.
That's excellent. I hope you continue to be a part of the InventOR network for the rest of your career. And we really look forward to singing what you bring to the stage on the 24th.